cool topic to really talk about today. Samantha presented something to me pretty awesome yesterday, an object. So today is about an object. And yeah, how can we really kind of go into talk about that?
Let's make it like show and tell. So you remember how you had show and tell at school? I don't know how it looks on there. Okay, so here's the object. You can hold it. What do you think it is?
Well, first of all,
Now pour the tea. To please your
your what was it?
Your future in-laws.
Future in-laws.
You must demonstrate a sense of dignity. Why does it squeak? Doesn't it make a squeak?
It does, I think. I have to watch that again.
I would have to watch that again.
Now, pour the tea. To please your future in-laws, you must demonstrate a sense of dignity.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Samantha and Kevin Show!
Hi!
Hi! I have our tea here. Here's Samantha's.
It has an
and
S.
here's mine.
Because it has a K.
Correct. So here's your tea.
Okay.
And here's mine.
Let's read our quotes.
We'll read our quotes to start off with.
Should I go first?
You go first.
Without gratitude, there is no prosperity. That's a good one.
Every time I read these, I don't know if it's because my brain shuts off as soon as I read them, and I feel like I have to read them 10 times. I mean, that's kind of the point, I guess. Because it's...
Well, because you have they're thought-provoking.
The thought-provoking. So I'm like, wait, read that again?
Thought-provoking. That's good. Did you get it?
I will play it. My brain will play it.
Without gratitude, so you need to be grateful. There is no prosperity.
Yeah.
So you be grateful
for
everything, because if you aren't grateful for what you have, then when you always want more.
Sure.
That's what it's about.
Fair. I know, I like that.
Yeah.
Are you ready for mine?
Yeah.
Your inner self is your inner guide. Oh. I do like that, because it's true.
You only had to read that once.
Yes. Got that one. Maybe I had to be reading it.
Maybe
it's a listening problem.
Could be.
Cheers. And we go.
It is a listening problem. Because I have it too.
That one was just short and sweet. Mine was short and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, everyone, welcome back to the Samantha and Kevin Show. We haven't done a video in a while, and all the other ones before, like the audio was messed up or something. So I've got new microphones, some new things in the works, and I'm really excited about with this episode. So thank you, Samantha, for your help for setting up the room, little studio.
Our little
You're
studio.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, we have a really cool topic to really talk about today. Samantha presented something to me pretty awesome yesterday, an object. So today is about an object. And yeah, how can we really kind of go into talk about that?
Let's make it like show and tell. So you remember how you had show and tell at school?
Show and tell?
I'm going to show and tell. But this time it's the upgraded version, the new and improved version of show and tell, where I allow Source to show me what an object means to me. So that's sort of what happened yesterday. So I'll go into starting off with, I got home from work and this object presented itself in my mind. And I was balking at it because I knew, I like to call my spirit guides, my higher self, Source. We don't want to get mixed up on terminology. We all have our terms. So I'll just say my higher self kept nudging me, find this object. And I was balking at it, like, really? I don't want to find that object. And so I started, doing my routine as when I get home, I take a shower, clean the house, maybe do the floors, just a little basic tidying up when I get home. And as I'm doing this, I feel the nudge again, find the object. And once again, I'm like, I don't want to find this object. And I'm like, and then I hear, you know where it is. I do know where it is. Go get it. I don't want to go get it. And then I start doing other things, trying to distract myself and avoid it. Then I find myself in my room, going to the box where the object is. I pull it down, it's in my closet, and it's in a blue bin. I pull the blue bin down from my closet shelf, and I look through the bin, and I'm like, it's not in there. So I'm not going to find this object. And then I put the bin back up on the shelf, and then I hear the voice again. Put your hand beside, because the shelf is higher than me, I can't see, right, what's on the shelf. And then I hear this voice, put your hand beside the bin. And I'm like, oh, God, I know what this is. I know where this is going. And sure enough, I feel the shelf, and that object is right there.
Wow. Can't avoid that.
No, you cannot avoid it. I'm like, okay, it's telling me I have to face something. So back to why I was like, I don't want to find this object. I didn't want to find the object because of the person that gave it to me. The emotions behind the person that gave me the object and what it represented to me. I didn't want to face that. So this person was somebody that I was very attracted to, wanted to date. I knew them for about 6 months. We hung out a lot, and we really wanted to be a couple. So you had a 6 months period where they were in the same location I was. So we hung out a lot. We would go on walks a lot. We loved to get coffee. So we went to the local coffee shop often. And one day this person came to my job, picked me up, and I had a break. So they were like, let's go get coffee. And I'm like, sounds great. So we went and got coffee. So it was during a lunch break or a break at work. We go into the coffee shop, we get coffee, we sit there, we have great conversation. We walk out of the coffee shop. And I'm getting in the car as they're getting in the car, and then they hand me the object that they found on the ground. Mm-hmm. And this person isn't in my life anymore. So this is what I didn't want to face, because in my mind, I'm like, they just ghosted me. After 6 months, they moved to another location, quit talking to me completely. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, I'm like, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me that they don't want me? Why won't they? I thought, this would last. They said they wanted it to last. At least if we're not romantic, at least we will be friends and that will last. So this is all going on in my mind. And it's been a year since I've talked to this person, or they've talked to me. It's been a year. And this is what I didn't want to face. Like, this person upset me. They hurt me. They broke my heart. I don't want to face that. I want to ignore it. I don't want to face it. And how often do we do things in our life where we're just like, we put it on the back burner, and we know about trauma. We know about trauma work. Yeah. And when you hold on to these traumas start to build up in your body. And so my higher self was saying, you have to face this. And it's overdue. Mm-hmm. And I had to face it in this object that was given to me. So they hand me the object, and I look at it. And what do you think? So I'll show it to you guys now. Okay. And I'm going to ask you what you think this object is. All right. So I'm going to hold it. Well, I can hold it like this. You can get it in the camera somehow. I don't know how it looks on there. Okay. So here's the object. You can hold it.
Hold it for a little bit.
And you tell me.
I'll also put it in on the video, so you'll see it in the video.
Closer up.
The better picture of it. But yeah, I'm holding it. Should I describe what I see of it?
Sure. What do you think? What do you think it
is? So first of all, like it's a clothespin, right? No, what do you call it?
Paperclip.
Paperclip. I make my own stuff.
It's paperclip.
Paperclip. And I first saw a heart, because when you first presented this to me, you're like, what does this look like? I was like, it looks like a heart.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like shaped like a heart. It's immediately what I thought. And I was like, oh, a bike. Yeah. Turning it away. It looks kind of like a human-made heart, and then like an actual heart.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That was very interesting. Cool. But it was like, yeah.
Yeah.
When you first showed it to me, I was like, well, okay. Yeah. But your story is really fascinating.
All right. So, this is what my spirit guides asked me on the object when I went into meditation. So, specifically, I was given instruction. Hold this object with your eyes closed and in a meditative state. Hold this object, feel this object, explore this object, but don't look at it. What do you feel? And as I'm meditating, and I'm feeling it, and I'm like, have my eyes closed, and I'm like, it's rusty. I'm feeling its shape. I'm feeling its curves. So I'm just doing this in my mind. And then all of a sudden these thoughts start coming to me. What was your initial thought when you first saw it? When the person handed it to you, what was your initial thought? And my initial thought was, it looks like a heart. And that was, to me, I'm like, that's so cool, because the person that gave it to me is someone that I deeply love and still do. So it was very significant to me that it looks like a heart. And this is the person that handed it to me. And so I start thinking this, and I start pondering on it and meditating on it. And then I'm like, it's a paper clip that was bent into shape. And it's also trash. It's unwanted. It was on the ground outside of the coffee shop in the parking lot. And it's unwanted. Somebody folded it up and just tossed it. Could have been. There's stories you could come up with, right? So these are kind of playing out in my mind. But significantly to me, trash is what came to my mind. And then I hear Source ask me, do you think that you're trash? And I had to stop and think, and I had to ponder that. Yeah.
Like, wow.
I do. Because at first, my first reaction was, no, not anymore. I'm good. I don't feel like that anymore. And then when I stopped and thought about it, I do feel like I'm trash. And all these things that have come up in my life, like we grew up poor. We never were able to buy clothes for school because we didn't have enough money. We had to show up with like hand-me-downs every year. It was very embarrassing to me. All these things that have happened in my childhood led me to believe, without me consciously knowing, it was subconscious. I was telling myself I'm trash. And that was revealed to me in that moment. Number two, second thing that was revealed to me, or that was asked by Source, do you think the person that gave this to you thinks you're trash? Yeah. And that one hurt. And so I'm sobbing, like tears, like cleansing tears. Like you take a shower, like your tears, my tears do that when I hit these realizations, and it becomes conscious now, and I shed light on it. And I see, wow, I'm cleansing myself. That's why I had to find this object. That's why it was so important, because I was subconsciously believing I'm trash. So everything that people would say to me, everything that I was doing showed up. I was putting that out as thinking I'm not worth it. I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. Not, self-doubt, a lot of self-doubt because of this belief I held.
Yeah.
And I woke up to that, and then that became conscious. I shed conscious awareness on that. And I was like, okay, so how do I shift it? How do I change it? If this is what I'm believing, how do I change it? Then I started getting more questions. Open your eyes and look at the object. And this is Source is telling me, after touching it now, sit up, look at the object. What do you see? And then you start looking at it, and you start doing different perspectives. You see it from different angles, different ways. And then I set it on the ground, and I took a picture of it. And it was more red in the photo than it is when I'm seeing it right here holding it. It looks more brown. So then I started realizing it's a matter of perspective. Everything holds a matter of perspective. Everything's energy. Everything has a perspective. You have a perspective. And my perspective is different than yours based on our beliefs and based on what we are holding on, our beliefs we're holding on to, and the things we've seen in our life and the experiences we've had. You have a different perspective than I do because this object wasn't given to you. So naturally you have a different, everyone that sees this is going to have a different perspective.
Yeah.
It's going to mean something different to everyone, and everything is like that.
Yeah.
In the universe. And so I started playing with perspective, and I started thinking, Okay, it's more red on the photo. That's interesting. So it's definitely rust.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, it's a paper clip. And then I start saying, well, it could be like a family. You have a couple and a baby, and they're holding a baby. You can see that. You said you saw a bike and, different things. It looks like a human heart, and it also looks like, the heart that we like to make. The depiction of the heart.
I'll preface some things within that because, like, I think it's really fascinating to kind of bring up my point of view of that. When you shared this story with me, I thought it was really fascinating because my perspective and my of you of how that resonated with the object on you is like we see the things that you do sometimes when you're like self-doubt, you bring yourself down, and you've been kind of struggling with that for a little while, and to see that connection between that part of you then into the one now, and how your higher self brought you to that object so you can fully face that you weren't fully loving yourself.
Yeah.
You weren't fully loving yourself, and that's what your higher self was telling you, is just like, do you think you're trash? And you're not. You're not trash. You are of abundance and of love, and you can't see that until you fully face the thing you were trying to avoid, which is,
yep.
Why does this person not like me? Why does it, well, let me face that. Why?
Yeah.
Oh, because I think I'm trash.
Right.
Wow.
And it has nothing to do with the other person. It has everything to do with my self-belief. And then I start asking the questions, well, did I push this person away from me because of my belief in thinking I'm trash? And then it's projecting that onto them, and then they perceive it, me.
Because it's in a way of like how you kind of create your reality.
Yeah.
Like what you believe other people are thinking of you is right.
Yeah.
But totally isn't.
Right.
It's not up to you, right?
Right.
Like I always remind myself, it's like whatever someone else is thinking of me has nothing to do with me, right? Yeah. But if I focus on that it's everything to do with me, then it is.
Right.
Like, oh, that person's thinking this, this, and this. Okay, well, I can choose to accept that about myself or change it, or not really change it for somebody, right? Be authentically yourself, but don't get into the space where
you're beating yourself up so much because, and that's where I was in that space where I'll never find love. No one will ever love me. And I don't know why. What's wrong with me? How do I get out of this? All the while really knowing I have to face it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until yesterday that it came to me
at the right time.
That here you go. Here it is. You got to find this, get this object, face it. It's time. You're ready. And you need to.
Right.
You need to it's time to step into your power, into your light. And yeah.
I'll also preface this again too with some things that you just went through. We both kind of have to, because I know this person, but not to get to a really deep, dark conversation, but we've lost another close friend of ours, and you are going through a lot of grief right now.
And that just happened on Tuesday. This
week.
On Tuesday, yeah, this week.
It's really interesting because you're seeing perspective of a lot of spiritual things in a way, because I think when you lose someone, this is something I've been learning as I've lost a lot of people in my life, is I used to say I lost that person's perspective that was here as my friend, but really I didn't lose a perspective of anything. I've gained a bigger perspective, because my belief, and I take everything for a grain of salt. Like I don't believe everything is at face value, but my belief is that from experiences of things I've had from my loved ones who have passed, that I have their perspective on the other side. It's kind of mind-blowing when you dive into it and communicate with your loved ones through spirit guides or with your higher self or source or God. You connect with them in a higher level because they see it all. Like, I think we're all there. We're just like in that process of getting there. Not to go off topic of everything, but I feel like that's just kind of something I want to preface with the situation of how I thought this is really neat with the object, on how your higher self brought you to it, of something that you needed to face, so you can step more into love and self-acceptance. Because I think once you start losing people is when you really start asking the bigger questions, because you're like, where are they? What is this? Why am I here? And those questions are so important because they help elevate you as a person, and your soul, I think, for more of what we are in our essence, which is love. I think so. I don't know. What do you think about that? I just thought I'd kind of throw a little bit of my 2 cents in there. But
yeah. So on that note, when another thing I started to realize, how did this get to me? How is this in my hands? How is this object? And how do I own this object now? How did that happen?
Well, and I like how you said how many people pass it up.
That's what I was about to talk about. So this was in a parking lot at a coffee shop. People are in and out all the time. It was rusty when it was found. Where it was shiny, how long? I don't know. If somebody watching this might know how long it takes for something to rust.
Yeah.
Especially a paper clip. I feel like it would be a shorter amount of time. Because it's, smaller. And I was thinking about that, like, okay, how long did it take this thing to rust? How long was it sitting on the ground before somebody found it? How many people overstepped it and never saw it? Who dropped it in the first place?
Yeah.
And how many people didn't see it after the fact? I didn't see it. It was the person that I was with that found it. And then I got to thinking, what does it say? And this is what my higher self asked me as well. What does that say about that person that gave it to you? That picked it up? What does that say about them? I'm like, I don't know. And then I hear, they don't know either, but their essence does. That's the word I heard, was essence.
That's so cool.
Their essence knows, and their essence is speaking to your essence.
Yeah.
And now you're becoming conscious of that.
Yeah. It's like what I was saying, like in a way of like when you lose somebody, like we're all there in that essence, the higher self of ourselves. We're doing things that our higher self knows.
Because time is not linear, and I've woken up to that. Time is not linear. It's all now.
Yeah.
It's all now. So we're already connected to us on the other side.
Yeah.
Just like while we're on everyone on the other side as well, we're connected to, because our self is connected to them already.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're still here because
right.
It's all connected.
It's crazy. And I really want to, Samantha wants me to share my story with my loved ones who I've lost, and experiences I've had with that very thing. I think that's what was really cool about when you shared this with me the other day. It was just like, it's almost like we're diving into each other's world on the other side already.
Yeah.
And in the physical. And it's cool because you're sharing some of these things that you're gathering, but I've gathered too, but it's like, I don't know. It's like, I know our bodies are the technology that I think we're seeking for, like we want in this world. Like our bodies are that.
That's the struggle with AI. We think, I want it to give me all the answers. Well, you already have all the answers that you need. Like, you already have that. You don't need AI to rely on.
I think AI is helping us get there.
It is.
Within ourselves, I think we're learning to see that AI is like part of it.
It can, and it can also hinder you, but it can help you, and you have to use it, and you have to be wise. Yeah. And that's what I'm learning with it. It's when I use it as a crutch, I don't know. I don't believe this. Again, I'm not believing myself.
Yeah.
I'm trash. Why would I believe in myself?
Right. It's a lower vibration. Like, you're putting yourself in, when you say these terrible things about yourself and that you believe in yourself about yourself, you are running off of old software, an old program, if you want to put into computer terms. Why do that? When you elevate yourself and you've gone through a lot of stuff in life, some of these things, these challenges, things, if you look at it in a good positive way and filter through and transmute or transfer the energy of something negative into something positive, you elevate yourself and you rise, you get closer to that, your higher state, but you feel better, you think better, you are upgrading. You're literally upgrading your software, I feel like, whenever you start accepting love for yourself. I think this is the quickest way you can get to your higher self.
Yeah. And I mean, you can break that down on so many ways. Like you have the simulation theory.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much I believe in that, or it does make a lot of sense when you break it down, but then you're like, why are we saying we've never ever in our life said things are a simulation until now. Why is that?
Right.
Well,
by the way, before we kind of dive into that, this is a question that I have for the audience of those of you who are watching. Samantha and I watched another podcast that really like, that's a guy interviews a lot of near-death experiences, but a lot of other spiritual kind of woo-woo stuff. But it's very fascinating, especially if you have your own experience with something spiritual. Audience is like, I want to hear y'all's thoughts on spirituality and kind of woo-woo stuff. My biggest thing is like trying to stay grounded in things. Yeah, I've had my own experiences with things, but I also take my own experiences for a grain of salt as well, because I think that's how culture gets started, because they're like, oh, this is what it is because God told me this, and this. And I'm like, okay, but have you questioned that? So I question everything because I think it's important. So I don't know. I thought that was really, as we talk about these topics, I want to preface it with that because I don't know all the answers. And I love that I don't know all the answers because I gain more answers from other people's points of view and their ideas into these kind of topics. So I don't know. What more did you want to share about that? Because I kind of feel like steamrolled you a little bit on that. But I just feel like I want to preface it with that because I'm curious to what you guys think.
But it's also has a lot to do with your background, where you've come from. What are you coming out of? What are the beliefs that you've held on to? And everyone has that. They've had some sort of belief that they've been holding on to that is unique to you. And then we have beliefs as a whole of humanity.
Yeah.
And then we have sections of beliefs, like then you have religion, and then you have cults, which I think a lot of religions are cults. Actually, I think all religion is cult. But that's how I feel. Like that's what because of my experiences, because of my story.
Yeah.
And everybody has that. Like somebody might have grown up, let's say a certain religion, and they'll go their whole lives being in that religion, and that's okay. That's where they are. That's where they were meant to be. That was their timeline here. They needed to fulfill. And I'm like, I used to get so caught up in that. Like, why can't people just come out of that? Like, how come I came out of that? And so many people are so stuck in that. What is that? Is it, and then you start learning, you start losing loved ones, and then you kind of start waking up because you have so many questions that religion can't answer.
Right.
And then you start to wake up, and then you read ancient texts like the Bible and different things. Like I grew up with the Bible, so we grew up with the Bible, so it's like that's my default. And I also honor it because my ancestors taught me, my loved ones. That's the religion we were born in.
Yeah,
I honor that. I think it's very important that we all honor these religions that our ancestors had. True. It's an energy. It got me something. It might not have got me to the place where I knew there was something else.
Yeah.
Religion taught me that.
Yeah. Well, also religion kept me in some form of belief because I have believed in nothing at all before, which is still somehow a belief, I think. But having some form of deity or something as a base is very important. I think that's how religion is what am I trying to say? Can be a good thing because it's helped start somewhere.
But when you start waking up to it and you step out, then you start to understand it's not outside of me.
Yeah.
Religion taught me it was outside of me. It's God and Satan, and they're not in you. Heaven and hell, that's in the future. That's when you die. It's not now.
Yeah.
It's not now, and it's not in you. It's not happening in you. It's happening outside of you. God is in heaven. Satan's down in the dirt. Like who knows? Like in the center of the earth. Like what? It's not. It's in you. It's all of it is within you. And then when I woke up to that, I started realizing it's an overwhelming feeling because you're like, dude, so you mean I have to blame everything on myself? All the bad, all the hurt, all the hurt that I was blaming everyone else for.
Right.
Now I got to blame myself. I'm the one that's causing that. Well, yeah. And it goes back to this list because I thought, one of the beliefs I was holding on to that other people impressed upon me are not necessarily that they were saying anything to say that.
Yeah.
That's how I took it.
Right.
And that became my belief.
Yeah.
And when you break that down, you start thinking, like, how many other beliefs am I holding on to? I can't be like, God, you did this, you caused this, you made this happen. It's like, God is saying, I'm in you and you did this. It's you. I can't blame it on Satan.
Yeah.
I have to face that.
Yeah.
Say, oh man, these things that happen. But I also do believe, or I've come to this space where I'm like, things are happening not just because of the power of me trying to manifest something. Things happen. I believe in destiny. I keep seeing things that this is your destiny. So with in terms of the relationship, for example, I feel like I'm not the only person that struggles with, is there somebody out there that loves me? Is there a person that's mine? Is there somebody for me? Do I have a soulmate, right? These are all things that I'm saying, again, outside of me.
Yeah.
And until you go within,
You're like,
I don't need to find love because I am love. Oh, I am love.
Yeah.
It's not until you wake up to it and you really embody it and you realize it, you feel it, you feel that emotion. It's not just that you're saying that now.
Yeah.
It's not a mantra. It's not an affirmation. It's your new belief. It's what you were saying. It's the upgraded version of you. You're reprogramming from trash to treasure.
Yes.
And that's what this is to me. This is what this object represents to me. Trash to treasure. Because now I have something I can treasure. I have something that holds meaning to me.
Wow.
Didn't come from the other person.
All right.
It came from me.
Whoa, that's really huge. It's a revelation right now. Like, if you think about that, let me see this real quick.
Sure.
Of the object and how it was presented to you. Your old belief system was, this is trash.
Right.
I'm trash. This now holds a whole, like you just said it, but I'm just reiterating again because I just thought it was fascinating. You are now like saying, you see the value of this now.
Yep.
And that's the exact thing that we do to ourselves. Like wow,
I see my value.
You see your value. You're like, whoa.
It doesn't come from my job. It doesn't come from my religion. It doesn't come from my partner. It doesn't come from my family. It comes from me. You
make it.
I make it what it is.
That's everything in your life.
Everything in your life. Yeah.
So accurate because like and things are a lot of choices that we make, and a lot of times we do that. We put the blame on so many other things in our lives and we're like, wait, I'm responsible for that.
Yeah.
Let me take over the responsibility and give myself grace. First of all, I think that's how you really get yourself out of those spirals of like, oh, everything's happening to me. It's more like, no, it's happening for me. Now, how can I look at it and give myself grace and love my flaws and all so I can upgrade myself and see that. Let me see the good of myself. Like, I have the choice, I make it what it is. Yeah, I make it what it is. When something I see seemingly feels terrible happening to me, I feel like when that's happening, when something feels like a trauma to an extent, I have a choice in how to look at it. I could face it with like, oh, this is the worst thing. I'm just going to dwell on the worst parts of it all. Or I can say, how do I make the best of myself in this? That's what I had to do with my friend who committed suicide. It was like, I can let this make the worst of me or the best of me. What do I choose? Yeah. And I've had a lot of other losses in my life, and I had other losses that I went down a path that made the worst of me. And I saw what that was like. And I was like, don't want to live in that realm anymore. So how can I elevate myself? How can I rewire my brain to see something better? And that's what I started doing. And I especially did that with my friend Seth. It's like, I can make it the best of me. transmute this energy, this harsh thing into something beautiful.
You can do that in the moment instead of waiting decades later.
Oh, totally.
And that's something I've learned. And we can have a whole nother conversation for another video on trauma.
Right.
Because I think when I began to wake up, the first thing that caused me to wake up was, going through traumatic experiences and feeling like I'm hopeless. Like I can't get out of this. I can't, money is a big trauma for me.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up, I already mentioned we grew up poor. We didn't have money. It's something that I think that I'm not worthy of.
Yeah.
I'm not worthy of having this source of abundance.
Yeah. It's kind of like we're choosing to stay what we saw growing up.
Right.
And living this cycle, this over and over again of like, money is terrible. This is bad. Look what it represents. Look how many people abuse it. So I'm fixated on that's all it is. When I'm learning to step out of limitations, because that's a limiting scarcity mindset. So changing that mindset of saying, well, I can change that. I want to see the good in it. And
we all have
like that.
Our process.
Yeah.
So what is your process? So on something that you have had an issue with and you overcame, what did you do to overcome it? For me, it was, my self-worth, my belief in myself, thinking I'm trash. I didn't even know I had that problem.
Yeah.
So you are not consciously aware of something until I share my process. Maybe it'll help somebody else find their process.
Yeah.
And that was what I was trying to get to.
Right.
So,
yeah, I've seen that yesterday a little bit.
A light only shines in the darkness. You have to have darkness to have light. You have to have contrast.
Right.
So if you walk into, and I've heard someone say this, so I'm quoting someone. When you walk into a room, and I don't remember their name, but I was just watching a video on YouTube, and this guy said it the other day. He was talking about when you walk into a room, and it's white, all white. You don't see anything. There's nothing there. It's just a white room. Same thing if you walk into a black room. You walk in, there's nothing there. It's just black. Now you start putting objects in that room. And these objects, now you can see.
Yeah.
And that's how we are with our conscious and our subconscious mind. I was subconsciously, because I didn't have contrast. I didn't have something to show me that it existed, that it was there. I didn't know I was seeing myself as trash because I didn't shine a light on it. Same thing with a flashlight. If you're in the dark room and you have a flashlight, you can only see what you pointed at. That's what we're doing with our subconscious and our conscious mind. We become conscious of it when we put that light on it.
Wow, yeah.
That's what I did with this object in my self-worth. It opened my eyes. It shed a light on what I was subconscious about, the belief I was holding that I'm trash, and put it in the right perspective. It was like, look at it again. Are you trash?
Yeah.
And then you shed that light on it. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm an amazing human being. I'm here in this flesh because I chose to come here to experience the contrast.
Right.
To experience these things, because otherwise, what are we? No one really knows.
Yeah.
We have these feelings, we have these ideas, we have these, I know what I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I feel I'm more. And I know, and it's a knowing. There's a difference between belief and knowing. And if you believe something, that's faith. If you know something, that's a fact for you.
Yeah.
And we do that both good and bad.
Right. What you choose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like, when you kind of hear that in the concept of people believing like on the afterlife, like what is heaven and hell? And a lot of people have come to the term of like, you create it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's literally what you do in here in your life. Like,
because again, it's all inside of you.
Yeah.
It's all inside of you, not outside of you. So when it's inside of you,
Yeah.
It's
you're
all
saying,
exists.
Like,
you are it. You are the
creating
unit. Yeah. And we are the universe, individually and as a whole.
Right.
We make up the universe.
And that's why I think it's so important to kind of share these stories and share these things, because I think that we're stepping into this, I wouldn't say idea, because like, I want it to become more of like what it is, and realizing and stepping into our power and saying that we are co-creating a space of allowing each other to step into our full or higher potential. And it's facing those things that I think as a collective too, but also it starts with individually. What is it that I'm holding on to? What is my limiting belief that's holding me back from raising the my spirits or the collective into a higher space, and shining the light into these better parts of ourselves, and having the perspective now. I think we're all shifting into a perspective that is a better world, but it starts within.
Yeah.
I said that a long roundabout way, but yeah.
But yeah, it starts within. It starts with you, and you have to decide to listen.
Yeah.
I could not deny that I needed to find this object.
It's like facing those things. Facing the things you don't want to face. Like, oh.
Yeah, and I was forcing myself to face it in a sense.
Yeah.
My conscious self.
I have a question on that, because like this is what I get asked a lot. A lot of people are always like, beat themselves up. Like I'm a terrible person now. And it's like, that doesn't get you anywhere. Because so many people.
Facing it, it's what you face it with. That's so good.
Yeah.
Because it's what you face it with. If I was facing that I'm trash in that shameful place.
That I am trash, you're just going to see that.
I'm like, yeah, that's what you're trying to show me. Okay, I'm trash. Okay, that's all I would see. And I would just leave it at that, because I'm living in shame.
Right. Shame is what
I had to go through a process of shaming myself before I could get to where I am with this.
Okay, so I wonder what it is that
facing things with shame, rather.
The question that I don't know how to ask the question. It's like, what defines? Like, how do you? I guess it's like going to you have to reach a place to your higher self, because that's what you did. Because your higher self is the one that had to remind you of that.
Yeah,
So
that's a good point.
I guess it's with that question along of being like, how do I face this without shame? It's like, yeah, go into your higher self. You have to be able to see it differently. Help me see a different perspective. What's a question I guess you could ask your higher self to say, hey, how do I not face this with shame? Because that's an old system. Like
what did this represent? Why was the first thing you saw? Why was it a heart? Because you face it with love.
Yeah. You're like,
instead of shame.
Yeah.
You replace everything with love instead of shame. Wow. As an individual, I'm getting there more and more. I'm learning to love myself more and more. And when you start to learn to love yourself more and more, you face things with shame less and less.
Yeah.
Now we have to get there individually and as a whole.
Yeah.
And I still see so many people. I see a lot of people waking up, but I also see a lot of people thinking all love is a fairy tale. Mm-hmm. And wanting to manipulate others. It's conditioned love.
It's conditioned. Yeah. Right.
If you don't do what I need you to do, if you're not the person, if you're not the person that I want you to be, if you're not making me happy because I can't do it myself, then
that's so true. And the very thing you have to do, I think, you have to do, sounds like I'm like directing something, but is looking at yourself with unconditional love.
Yep. How do you get to unconditional love?
Yeah.
And that's what I had to learn. What is unconditional love?
What does that look? Yeah.
And then those were the things that I had to ask myself, what is it? If I'm supposed to love unconditionally, well, what does that mean?
And then you start looking at all the conditions you have. And you're like, oh, I am trash?
Yeah.
I love this trash, though. And then you start loving every flaws and all that you are, and that's unconditional. Yeah. Because it doesn't matter what you do, what you said, what you've done. Love does not see those things. I mean, it literally says that in the Bible. I think there's a scripture in there about that, you know.
When you start waking up and you start reading,
like, wait.
That's what's so cool. When you start waking up and you start reading the Bible and you start, it's not in tainted religion. Through those eyes, you're seeing it through love. Authentic.
I mean, that scripture got me through my whole life.
Yeah.
I think, because when I didn't believe in anything at all, that was what that scripture of like, love does not boast, love does not envy, love does not. I knew there was some type of thing that was not in the traditional sense of love that we have made it out to be, which is usually sex or something very shallow.
Right.
So that's what fairy tales have made it out to be. But when I looked at love when I didn't believe in God, I always believed in love. That was written in the Bible. I really stayed true to me because it was like, that's how I want to try to represent my world in my life. It's hard to see in a tainted world that I was around of like, but it was mostly the world that I was seeing and reviewing myself and how I saw myself. But the more I see myself in that love, giving myself that unconditional love, I'm seeing it now in everyone else.
Yeah.
And it has to start with me.
And
That's
then
the
it
only
just
way,
spreads more love.
like, instead of shaming myself for
When
like,
you
oh, I
do
look
it,
ugly in that. No, I look beautiful in that. I have a mole here. Oh, I love that mole. And like, it's just like a different perspective that I just wasn't choosing to look at.
I didn't like myself, or I say like, because I didn't even like myself.
Yeah.
You can't even like yourself. How are you going to love yourself?
Yeah, true.
And I would see other people just shining and because they got to that space, and I'm like, how do they do that?
Yeah.
And I'm still looking at everything outside of me. We're trying to change matter with matter.
Right. You're like,
and it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, like, we could get on a whole another topic of manifestation and how far I've come understanding that, but we're not going to go into that. But you do have to find it in yourself. And if you're looking at someone else, how did you get there? How did you do that? How did you learn to love yourself? That helps, and you can start there. And and that's one reason why I wanted to share my findings, because if there's somebody out there that can say, I struggle with that too.
Right.
How do I find those? How do I find my higher self? How do I find source? How do I understand what love is? What are the steps I do to get there? Well, you have to find it for you.
Yeah.
It's different for all of us. But what I can say that is universal is back again, you have a flashlight in your hand. We all do. What are you shining on the outside? What are you shining on the inside? What are those things that you have to sit with yourself? Yeah. You have to face those selves. So if you're an angry person and you're getting people telling you, oh, you're very angry, you're getting fired from jobs, you're going on dates and then you're dating people and they're breaking up with you, and you can't ever seem to keep somebody. You're mad at your family all the time. You're mad at your dog. You're mad at your cat. You're mad at this. You're mad at that. You're angry at the world. It's because you're angry with yourself for some reason. And I had to get to that space.
I mean, I'd be like, why am I doing that?
It starts with your emotions. Your thoughts are creating your emotions, and your emotions are causing a reaction. So we can, I love Dr. Joe Dispenza, because he's the first neuroscientist that I started to listen to and watch and study about your neural pathways and how you can rebuild your neural pathways. You can recreate by your thoughts, with your thoughts. And so if I'm thinking, so-and-so made me mad today, I'm not changing anything. That's strengthening that neural pathway. But if I start saying, why am I letting them make me angry? And then you start going within and you're like, oh crap, it goes back, oh man, I'm doing that to myself.
Yeah.
No one's doing it to me. No source, no nothing, no devil, no demon, no other person.
I think that's where a lot of people
me
find
doing that to me.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's hard for people to find, because they don't know what that looks like for them. I think because we're so ingrained of the idea that it's something else, it's just really hard to look within. I think for a lot of people, it's just to admit our own doings. And I think that's what it is, because I think that's why they never get there, because it's like, if I admit that I did X, Y, and Z, that I'm a terrible person. I guess some people can't see the good in it. I wonder, I don't know, it's just kind of a thought. I just was thinking, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's the work that you only individually can do. Like, no one can do that for me. The stuff that I've personally done, I have to admit, I have to admit it within the space of love and not shame.
Yeah. Well, the person that found this and gave it to
Mm-hmm.
me, for a year, they were on my mind, in my mind, living rent free all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was asking my higher self, why is this person always, they don't care about me anymore. Like, is how I feel. Like, they don't talk to me. They don't reach out to me. My mom died then they said, oh, reached out to me. That was the only time they reached out to me. And within a year of not seeing them. And it's almost been 2 years now. And, it's been over a year now.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, what am I doing wrong? And why is this person still on my mind? And then I started listening to a psychologist who is no longer here, but Carl Jung. Mm-hmm. Carl Jung talks about shadow work.
Yeah, shadow work's really good.
Started waking up to shadow work. And I was like, okay. So if somebody's on your mind, there's a video on YouTube and I've watched it many times and there's other things like it because I'm like, and the video was titled something like, if somebody is living in your mind rent free, then that's saying something about yourself. That wasn't the title, but it's like along those lines.
I mean, that sounds
but that's the description of the title, right? Yeah, there's something going on that you have to face about yourself.
Yeah.
And this person represents what you have to face about yourself. So for example, the person that gave me this, very outgoing person, very loving person, very person oriented. They are extroverted. I'm very introverted. So I start seeing these qualities in a person and we automatically think it's because I want that person. And then you go deeper when you start understanding shadow work. Has nothing to do with the other person at all. It has everything to do with you. So I'm looking at this person as a very attractive, happy, funny, outgoing person. And those are all qualities that I wish I possessed. Right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I need that in my life. So I want them. And then we start getting a, what's the word? We start getting that attraction.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah,
but I was like, huh.
We start having an attraction to that person. And then that attraction can be confusing because now it's like, oh, I want to be with this person. Mm-hmm. And then you do shadow work. And then you understand why. You start asking, why is this person on my mind all the time? Why is that attractive to me about this person? And in shadow work, you realize they are reflecting you. Mm-hmm. Everyone is a reflection of you.
Well, that's how we're all connected.
And that's how we're all connected. So I'm reacting to what you're showing me or what you're telling me unconsciously to make you conscious of those parts of you.
Right.
And that's when I realized the person that gave me this object, none of this has anything to do with them. I thought, man, I'm going to be with this person. We're going to be a couple. We're going to start dating whenever we figure our lives out. And that's why they're on my mind. That's why I'm not going to give it up because that's why they're on my mind. Because someday it's going to work out. We're going to be together. That's what the world believes. That's what we're taught. That's what we're told. That's what we believe, right? When I started digging into it deeper, I started realizing, why are they always on my mind? And that's when I asked myself, higher self, please help me face this so I can stop, so they can get out of my mind. So then I started realizing, oh, all those good qualities are things I possess. Mm-hmm. Oh, all these bad qualities are also things I possess. And this person is showing me those things. That's why they're in my mind. Yeah. Living rent free because it's something I have to look at. I have to examine. I have to shine the light on it. Yeah. And I'm tired of waking up feeling depressed because this person, once again, another day, they didn't reach out to me.
And just play that over.
And play that over and over. Cycles. Again, there's those cycles. So I wanted to just bring that up, with that because my whole spiel with that, because I think it's so important that if you don't know who Carl Jung is, I think everyone should go on YouTube and type in Carl Jung and watch some videos.
Yeah, there's so many things out there that's really good. It's helpful.
Yes, so helpful. If you don't know Dr. Joe Dispenza, go online. Go on YouTube, pull up a video.
And if you're a big woo-woo person, check out Alex Ferrari, Next Level Soul. I love that. That one helps me a lot with a lot of things. And I know it's like, it's kind of far out there on some things, but I don't know. It's really fascinating to just dive into some what ifs or whatever, even like expand your world, expand your mind, listen, take it for a grain of salt. Even what we say, it's just like, that's what we're here to do, is just kind of help one another grow. And I want to hear your perspectives and your thoughts.
Because it's all about sharing. And again, like what I said, we're mirrors to each other. So if we hear the audience's thoughts and how they feel and what they think, that helps me understand more about myself. It goes both ways. Yeah. Like, we're all in this together.
Right. Even the negative things, there's always something positive in it. Like, it's all in perspective. Like, I looked at a lot in my life with other people when I face myself and go out into the world, because of my job, I'm like that with work, is I just dive into the world knowing that they're going to see something about themselves within me. And I'm going to have you face things in yourself and vice versa. I know you're going to show me things that I need to work on just by being.
Yeah.
It's really cool. If you look in the world like that, you kind of swim through it in a way that's like beneficial. And if you choose to look at it that way, I choose to look at the things that seem negative by a passenger getting upset. And look at it in a way of like, I've done that. Okay, how do I, look at it now? Help me pay attention. What do I need to see here? What can I do to do better? How can I react in a different way, And so things like that I just use as a practice in my life. But these are from things I've learned. But I don't really want to go any further. I feel like it's a great time to wrap it up and hear from you guys, the listeners. I know we have very few right now, but I really am curious to hear what you guys think. Let us know in the comments below what you think about what is your object, first of all. Since we're talking about an object like this, what are your thoughts on an object? Have you had a story where an object has spoke to you, or your higher self has talked to you? God, source, however you want to label it for yourself. Have you ever had an experience like that for yourself? Please let us know in the comments below, or email me. I'll have my email in the link below, or over here. I'll have my link over here. And let me know. Send something, a little video. Go to a quiet space, send a video of your story, and I may share it on the next episode. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts, your stories on an object that spoke to you.
Or if you don't want to make a video, you can
an audio, just audio.
Do an audio, or write it and put it in, send an email, write it in the comments, and we can read it on the next video. For example, if you're okay with that, there's options. But I'm gonna say, turn your trash into treasure.
Yes.
Love and love it. Love.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. We love you all so very much. Just go out there and work on you. Go within, work on yourself. And I'm going to continue to do the same thing for myself. I want to hear from you guys. Thank you. We love you all.
Peace, love, and unity.
Peace, love, and unity. Let's do it all in our heart.